against senior forward Bethany Watterworth. Coach, start us off with an opening statement.
Well, obviously we can't continue to dig ourselves this kind of big hole to start a game and expect to win, especially against a team that's won the league 15 years in a row like Green Bay. We dug ourselves a huge hole in the first half, couldn't make shots. Thought we did a pretty good job defensively to keep us in the game for about 17 minutes. Then we kind of fell apart the last 3 minutes of the half to where they went on a little run. In the second half, we started making shots, but we stopped playing defense. So, we got to defend for 40 minutes to win, and even though the shot wasn't falling in the first half, I thought we did defend for the first 17 minutes of that half. But once we got to the second half, then the shot was falling and we stopped playing defense, and you're not going to win and overcome that kind of deficit unless you're defending the second half too.
All right, let's open up for questions for Bethany.
Bethany, actually, for Bethany or Coach, I think you kind of referenced there, Coach, that team that won 15 consecutive league titles. Are you guys pretty well aware of something like that before you go in, like, hey, this team's been very successful in the Horizon League, kind of knowing that you're going to be, it's going to be a challenge?
Yeah, we know their past and their history, and they're a very good ball club, but we also know that we can beat them, and, like Coach Tungate said, we just can't afford to come out to a start like that. And then, this whole season, really, we've been preaching, consistency. We have to play consistently on the offense and the defensive end for both halves, and that didn't happen tonight. So we know what we can do, we know what we're capable of, but we got to put two halves together. Bethany,
looking at your demeanor out there on the floor, obviously you look at the box score, you had 28 points, but knowing you and getting to know you a little bit, you weren't happy out there because of the way things ended.
Yeah, it was frustrating. There was times, like Coach said, when we did well on offense, but then our defense wasn't there. So it was just like, we're doing well in one area, but we got to pick it up in the other area. So I just know that we're capable, like I said before, of so much more. And, I need to remain positive out there and, be a good example for my teammates. But, I really care so much, and, I want to win. So. Right. And following that up, a team to beat a team like Green Bay, obviously they're the standard, as you talked about earlier, in the Horizon League. You have to do that on both ends of the floor, as far as defensively and offensively, to beat them, as Coach said. Right. They're not going to give us any breaks. They're coming in here. They're a championship team. They've proved it over the past 15 years. So they're not going to give us any breaks, but we need to put ourselves in a position to win the game, especially right off the bat.
You took 16 of your team's 18 free throw attempts. Talk about your ability to get to the line tonight.
I think it's just more of a mental aspect. I just going out there, I'm just attacking, and I just have confidence in my ability to get to the basket. But also, I know our team is capable of that as well, and you saw that Nola got to the basket pretty easy too. So that's something we kind of went away from tonight. We weren't really attacking as well. But like I said, Nola Anderson got to the hoop, and we can do it. We just gotta put our mindset to it and get it done.
Any more questions for Beth? All right, thanks, Beth.
Thank you.
I will open up the floor for questions for Coach Tungate.
Coach, actually very similar question to Bethany there. It sounded like you are pretty well aware of, what they've done. You almost look at a game like this as, even though it didn't turn out the way you guys wanted to, as kind of like a progress report, so to speak, in terms of measuring yourself against, a team that's won, a league championship 15 years in a row like that?
Yeah, I talked to the team after the game about winning is just a mentality. And when they go and you won 15 years in a row, you expect to win. And I know they got off to a little rough start in the league, but when you have that kind of mentality and you expect to win, good things happen. And, we're trying to change the mindset. Our team lost 37 games the last 2 years. And so to come into a game like this against Green Bay where they're expecting to win, we're hoping to win, that's a huge difference. And we've got to get to the point where we expect to win if we're going to take that next step in the program. And so, I wanted the players to be aware that they won 15 straight, because there's a certain mentality you have to make that happen. And that's the mentality we've got to get in our program if we want to take this where we want it to go.
Coach, you talked about the fact that, this team and where this team is from a mindset perspective versus where a team like Green Bay is from a mindset perspective. You talked about the losses over the last 2 years. And this is kind of a loaded question, I guess, but at the same time, Do you take stock of that, where your team is from a mentality standpoint when you take the floor against a team like Green Bay? Do you take stock of that and then measure that up a little bit later on in the season with where you're at?
Yeah, I think so, and I think you saw it earlier in the year that we were down 7 at Tennessee. It was almost more of a relief than let's go out and get it done. We're down 1 at halftime to Michigan State. It's more of a relief than a mindset, and so that's something that I measure and look at all the time to see where we're at, and can we develop that swagger, so to speak, for it to be the type of team that walks in and says, you know what, let's go get this game done and let's take care of business. And I've said this many times, but it's a work in progress, and we are progressing there, but we're not quite there yet. If we didn't have that mindset developing, that whatever, what was it at halftime, we're down 16, that would have been a 30-point loss. So at least we fight, we keep coming back, we don't quit. That's a good sign that we're starting to develop that mindset. But now we got to take the next step. So now we're not just going to come back, but we're not going to dig ourselves that big a hole, and we expect to win from the opening jump.
Coach, you travel to UIC next week. How do you plan to adjust from the last time you played them when they beat you, and adjust from tonight?
Well, obviously rebounding is going to be a huge thing against UIC. They absolutely destroyed us on the boards in the second half. They had, if I remember right, 24 offensive rebounds. I think 18 of those came in the second half. And so obviously rebounding is going to be a huge key. We're going to make some adjustments in what we're doing from a rebounding standpoint. They've got a really, really good player that had 21, 22 rebounds against us last time. I think 9 offensive rebounds. So we're obviously going to have to put a lot of focus on rebounding going into UIC. It's a game that that we fought back and we clawed and things like that, but we've got to put ourselves in a position where we don't give so many second shots. From tonight, what we've got to take is we've got to get more efficient in how we run our offense. I thought tonight we're very stagnant, especially in the first half, and in our offense we're easy to guard. And the biggest thing in our offense is you got to be able to get to the basket. And tonight, Bethany did, and you saw what happened when she went there. I thought Noah Anderson, like Beth said, did a good job getting to the basket, but everybody else just kind of froze around the perimeter, and we've got to do a much better job of getting to the rim and working on getting to the foul line and having more than just 1 or 2 people attack the basket.
Coach, how would you kind of like evaluate, obviously, this might be kind of you guys are trying to build into something here. How would you evaluate just overall on a whole this season, as opposed to maybe what you were kind of expecting to be at this point?
To be perfectly honest, we're further along than where I would expect to be at this point. I think the players have really bought into the system and what we're doing. And and I told them after the game, I've gotten greedy. I mean, we're at the point now where I want more. And we are further along quicker than I thought we would be. We've gotten to this level faster than I thought we would get there. But now that we're there, I want more. And I've got to make sure that I stick true to what I've been preaching since day one that's got us to this point and not get away from that. And I think that because I want it so bad for this team, I've kind of strayed a little bit from what I believe and how it should be done and what we need to do. And we need to get back to the process and not so much the result. And I think I've been way too result focused the last couple of weeks as opposed to process focused. So we're going to get back to the process, and I'm pleased with where we're at. I want more, but we got to remember how we got here.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, thanks for the time.
Thank you.